We're joined by Onose Asotie-Enaholo, Senior Investment Analyst with Main Street Capital. Good afternoon, Onose. Onose, the NGX rally appears to be, taking a step back now, but still in line with expectations, I hope. But the question is, does the rally still have legs?
Yes, I think the rally does have legs. So it depends on the timeline you're looking at. For today, the major stocks that are pulling down the NGX, at least for the intraday is Ardell and Dangote Cement, right? So those are just two stocks. Now, of course, there are pockets of sales in other stocks, but these are the two major stocks just because of how largely capitalized they are. So if you look at both prices, they are both at pretty significant highs. Both Ardell and Dangote Cement. And even if you look at this week from Monday till right now, we've seen pretty significant price increases from both of these stocks, at least compared to their size. So both of them are up like at least 9%, this week so far. So it makes sense that we will see some profit taking, and it depends on how, severe this profit taking is and how long it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take so long. So within that period, we might see the market kind of wobble. But after that, I believe we're back to, positive sentiments and uptrend.
Okay, no, we did have that projection that the NGX would hit 200,000 in the first quarter of this year. Do you think the market is being overly optimistic?
For the NGX hitting 200,000, perhaps, because you do have a situation where no matter how much small and mid-cap stocks run, they don't have so much of an impact on, the benchmark index. And if you look at over the last 2 weeks, if you look at the price charts, you see a point where the market trended, the benchmark index kind of ranged, right? At that point, small cap stocks were being bought. We saw 45%, 60% weekly increase in small cap stocks, but the large cap stocks didn't really see much volatility, right? So the benchmark index itself didn't see much volatility. Now, the larger capitalized stock is the more money you need to really push the price upwards. So if the benchmark index is really, connected to the large cap stocks, then it means you need a lot of money. Now, it is possible because you have a situation where PENCOM has recently raised the limits for PFAs. So you might see a lot more funds from PFAs coming in. Now, of course, if we have billions coming into large cap stocks, that could very much be possible. But then it just means you need to see a significant liquidity influx into the market for that to happen.
In terms of the uptrend that we should still expect in the equities market, what sectors do you see driving this?
Right now, oil and gas, some consumer goods, and financial, banking, and of course, consumer goods, but specifically Dangote Cement and, Lafarge, which is WAPCO.
Okay, so speaking of the banking sector now, we saw that deal fall through for Access Holdings, Access Bank. How do you see investors' sentiments toward the stock at the moment?
So Access hasn't really been one of the runners that we've seen this year so far. It hasn't really been one of the runners we've seen. I don't think we should see so much of a decline, because of that. I mean, even their release, their circular, said that it's because they failed to meet up with the regulatory things that they needed to meet up with before the deadline. And it does not change their outlook on the South African market or their interest in buying up, a bank or expanding into the market. So there is still hope because another deal can be, negotiated. We can see maybe it's possible to ask for an extension. Things can be done. There are ways around this, right? And so we know that Access Bank still wants to get into the market. Access Bank is still very much interested. So things could be done, So it's not right now, it's not a, be all end all kind of situation. So I don't think Access Bank's price is going to see so much of a beating because of this.
Okay, so I also see that news coming out in the market. Deepcap was getting additional funding, and we know Deepcap is also committed to financing mining in the country and across Africa. How do you see this pushing Deepcap? Do you see it pushing to Deepcap's stock price to double digits in possibly, say, in the next couple of months?
All right, so for that, you kind of have to ask, because if you look at Deepcap's trend, Deepcap is up, I think, over 100% already this year. So now the question is, has this influx been fully priced in to the market, right? I think over the last 1 or 2 weeks, Deepcap's price has gone down like maybe 20-something% or so. So it's like, okay, obviously, some people expected this to happen, and I think this started when there was this memorandum of understanding from Deepcap, in relation to even, I think, the gold mining announcements, from the federal government and all, So it's like, it hasn't fully been priced in yet, right? And we're gonna know by just watching Deepcap's price. If you see a significant push upwards, then okay, maybe it hasn't fully been priced in. If you don't see so much of a push upwards in the next couple of days, then it means that the speculation around that being priced in has already happened, because the price is still pretty significantly high. And so now it's a question of, do investors or the market participants think that where Deepcap is trading right now reflects the value of that influx coming in, right? And then price will always tell what people really think. And so it now depends in the coming weeks and months, is there going to be a situation where more fundamental data comes out that causes more repricing? Because I feel like a lot of that has already been priced into the market from what we've seen, even though movements have, you could say movements have been largely speculative, yes, but that has been priced in somewhat. So if we now have more fundamental data, and then we can now see maybe more price movements in reaction to that data.
Fantastic. So how do you see the market closing? Just one word on us, green or red?
Red.
Whoa, that's a big one. The market definitely has one pullback this week. And we'll see how that affects, impacts, those that are going to make money from it, and those that probably will go in home crying. Thank you so much, Onose Asotie-Enaholo, Senior Investment Analyst, Main Street Capital Limited, for joining us on Business Incorporated.
Thanks for having me.